So today I'm going to talk about how you can build a one-man or a one-woman $1 million business. And here's the special thing. How to do this without a team. So no team, all by yourself. So it's funny, we are thinking a little bit small today. And why are we thinking small today? It's because I just recently saw this video by Sam Altman. And Sam Altman is the owner of OpenAI, ChatGPT. And this video, it can potentially blow your mind. So we're going to play this video and then we'll be back.
We're going to see 10-person billion-dollar companies pretty soon, like billion-dollar valuations. And the thing that in my little group chat with my tech CEO friends, there's this betting pool for the first year that there's a one-person billion-dollar company, which would have been unimaginable without AI, and now will happen.
Well, that's quite phenomenal that you are able, not everybody, let me not say not you, but not for everybody, obviously. Not everybody is able to build a $1 billion business by themselves. And I think the first person still has to, because this video is maybe a year old, and I heard some things that there's already somebody who built a 10-figure business, $1 billion business, and or at least a valuation of over $1 billion. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. And I say we're thinking small today because we're going to talk today about how you can build let me go to the presenter view, how you can build a 7-figure business, $1 million business with no team. If I look at entrepreneurship, there's a lot of different levels. And I recently had a conversation with an entrepreneur, and she was doing between 3,000 and 4,000 euros a month. And we were having this conversation. It was in a coffee store here in Amsterdam, not a coffee shop. And I was talking to her, and for her to go from nothing to 3,000 to 4,000 euros, it was a big deal. And I was asking about her life and how she is doing and everything. And she was like, well, it's still pretty tough because every euro that I spend, I have to think about it. So I almost get anxious when I go to a grocery store and I have to pay with my card. Hopefully there's enough money on my bank account. And this is what happens if you're an entrepreneur, a one-man show or a one-woman show. You have no team, but you're making between $2,000 and $5,000 or 2,000 and 5,000 euros. That's this moment where, you can live, you can pay for your groceries, you can pay for your rent, but you're not really living because it's quite hard. And then I spoke with her. I was like, what would it be like if you go from 2 to 5K to 5 to $10,000 or euros in this case a month? And it was funny. She never really thought about that because for her, she was stuck in this 3,000 to 4,000 euro range. She was a coach. But I asked her, what would it be like if you go from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, whatever, to 5 to 10K a month? And for her, it was like, wow, that would be game changing. That would literally mean that whenever I go to a store, I don't even have to think about it. I can go to nice restaurants. I can maybe invest a little bit in myself. I can buy a course here and there. I can maybe rent a car or whatever. Life would really, really change if you go from 5K a month to 10K a month. And it's funny, and I told her, if you can make 3,000 to 4,000, and this is, if you're watching this, if you can make whatever that you're making right now, that will mean that you are also able to make more. However, the amount of money that you're making right now, you decided that. You're stuck at that level because you decided that. But if your comfort zone would have been more, you would probably make more. See, if you make $0 a month because you don't know how to make a sale, okay, then I cannot guarantee to you you're gonna make more. However, if you are making a certain amount of money, you're actually able of making more. But it's all about your mindset. You need to think differently. So the difference between 0 to 5K, from 5K to 10K, it's a huge difference. It's so much more freedom. However, it's still not an amazing level. If you make the transition, if you're in between 5K and 10K, and you make the transition to 50K, for example, between 10K and 50K, so let's say 50K, that's a total new reality. My friend Dean Jackson, and I'll introduce Dean in a minute, through a video that I have from a mastermind that we done a couple years ago. He has this saying, and the saying is, you want to live like an artist with a $50,000 a month trust fund. So you want to live like an artist with a $50,000 a month trust fund, meaning that you look at your schedule, you look at your calendar, and you can ask yourself the question, what would I love to do today? What would be amazing for me to do today? And also that you can travel wherever you want to travel. You can buy whenever you want to buy. Maybe not big Rolls Royces or private jets, but you can rent nice hotels, like nice hotel rooms. Like, life changes completely when you get to like a $50,000 a month level. If you can make $10,000 a month, you can make $50,000 a month. But it's all in between your ears. Do you actually believe that that's possible for you? Do you believe that that's a reality for you? So with $50,000 a month, everything is different. Like, you are free. You're free, especially if your calendar isn't overly scheduled. And it's a decision. You can get there. And I'm going to talk about how to get there during this presentation today. But then there's another level. And this other level is between $50,000 and $100,000 a month. If you make $100,000 a month, you're at the 7-figure level a year with your business. And this is the level where you can literally almost do anything you like, except for maybe flying private, but you can fly business class. You can travel wherever you want. You'll never have to look at prices on a menu again in a restaurant. Like, life is different at this level. And for me, I've been at this level for over 20 years. And for me, if I look at business, I always say that my business needs to serve my lifestyle. I don't want to adjust my lifestyle towards my business, not too much. I want to adjust my business towards my lifestyle. And that's something we're going to talk about today as well. But if I would ask you the question, what would be unbelievable for you? What would an unbelievable life look like for you? What would that look like? What would you do? What would an average day look like? What would an average week look like? What does an average month look like? What does an average year look like? You can decide. If you're at this level, you can decide what that would look like for you. And this is where we'll start. It's funny, I have my journals here, and one of my journals is called Big Visions. It's my own journal. And this is what I wish for every entrepreneur. I always say that an entrepreneur, we all have a magic wand. We all have a magic wand. We can come up with stuff, and then all of a sudden it is real. Like, literally, these journals, these are my journals. I came up with the idea. This is a white space journal. I came up with the idea, like, I want to have a journal, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's a reality. And that's the beautiful thing of entrepreneurship. But sometimes, or oftentimes, or most of the times, we lost the connection to us really being creators. We get into a business model, and from this business model, we just decide and accept, okay, this is what it is. And then we're stuck in our business model that's capping what we can actually do with our business. So for example, if you start a restaurant, a small little restaurant in a village, like, what's the maximum that you can do with this restaurant? Like, what's the best case scenario with a restaurant like that if you really commit to that business model? Well, it is the maximum what you can do, and that's probably a couple $1,000 a month or whatever in profits, hopefully. But that's like the best case scenario. Today we're going to talk about something that's unrealistic almost. And we started off like, how can you build not how can you build $1 billion business, but that it's actually a possibility that you can actually build $1 billion business with one person, which is like unbelievable. But that's the time that we live in right now. Today, I'm going to hopefully trigger you a little bit to, or inspire you a little bit to think more unreasonable. So, if you can be a one man or a one woman millionaire, what would it be like for you? And do you actually believe that that's a possibility for you, yes or no? The majority of people, they will never think that this is a possibility. They might see that there's a possibility to build a 7-figure business if you have a big team, if you work a lot, if you're stressed out a lot. But they don't, like, not a lot of people actually thought about becoming a one man or a one woman millionaire. When I started selling online, this is in 1999, a couple years in, I made this calculation and it was just so funny, but it was an epiphany moment for me and I still know the number. I was like, what's needed to actually get to $1 million a year? And this is 2003, 2004, I think, when I asked myself this question. And what's needed to get to $1 million a year? And I made the calculation. It turns out it's $2,739 a day. If you can make $2,739 a day, you can actually have. If you do that consistently, you have a 7-figure business. You are a one man or one woman millionaire, or at least you have a one woman or one man millionaire business, which is phenomenal. And then all of a sudden, it becomes more doable. And then I made my first 17 euros online. And I can still remember, like, when I made my first 17 euros online selling ebooks back in 2005 here in the Netherlands. I call one of my friends to tell him, like, dude, I just made $17 passive income. I don't even know the person who bought this ebook. And he was like, what are you talking about? You make more money with your other business, which was a business that I didn't enjoy anymore. And you're talking about 17 euros. I was like, no, it's not about the 17 euros. If I can make 17 euros by somebody else paying 17 euros and I don't even know who it is and they automatically download this ebook, what's possible? Like, what is possible? If I can do it once, I can do it 10 times, 100 times, and I can make millions this way. And when this clicked for me in 2005, when I did the calculation, and I made my first 17 euros, 18 months later, I made my first 7 figures, my first €1 million on the internet. So it's possible. It is possible. You don't need technical skills. You don't need to be like extremely good in selling or whatever. I mean, there's certain things that are very important. I'm going to talk about that as well. But it is possible. But first you have to believe that it's possible. I know it's cliche, but it's true. Most people stopped dreaming. Most people stopped dreaming. If I ask an adult person, like, what would you love to do? Or what would be amazing for you? Oftentimes the best thing that they come up with is an improvement of the current situation. That's the best thing that people come up with. Oh, I would love to have some more free time. Or, oh, I would love to maybe go to a nicer hotel when we go on our holiday, or whatever it is. Most people, and especially when they're in survival mode, and most people are in survival mode, most people stopped dreaming. They don't dream anymore, or maybe they never even started dreaming because they have a fixed mindset. So what you want to have a growth mindset, but even better, you want to think in unlimited possibilities, and sometimes you really want to think unrealistic. I love being with people who are unrealistic, who have such big dreams that you'll be like, that's impossible. And you want to surround yourself with people like that. So this is a picture of a younger version of me. And this was in 2008. And this was at an event in London. It was a seminar, was the first seminar that I actually attended. No, I'm lying. This is 2006. So this is in 2006. And it was the first seminar that I attended, and it was a free seminar. And with this free seminar, there's all these speakers, and they started selling on stage and all that stuff. And I was just so impressed. I was like, wow, man, all these guys that are on stage and whatever. And I was super insecure. And if you can see this, you see my jacket, and you see like this sticker on my jacket with my name on it. And it was just the first time I wore a jacket in my life. And but it was exciting times because I saw new possibilities. It was a horrible seminar. Like, it was zero value, 100% pitch fest. But for me, it was fascinating. It was fascinating. And if you look at this version of me, this is 2006. I became successful online in 2007. So I started, that was when I did my first million euros online. This is like a year after this picture. Because my eyes were open, like, wow, this is possible. All of a sudden, I make a lot of money. And all of a sudden, I start to believe in myself. But maybe a little bit too much. So I went from having no team to having 3-4 people in my team making €1 million in 2007. And then in 2008, I was like, dude, like, I'm making $1 million a year. Let's scale this baby. Like, everything I touch turns into gold. And I really started to believe too much in myself. So we expanded because I wanted to scale. And I was so unexperienced. And so I grew from 4 people to 17 people within a year. 2007, I made around $1 million. 2008, again, I made around $1 million. However, I had 17 people in my team. And at the end of the year, I couldn't pay my taxes. And I couldn't pay my team. I was stressed out. And like, the version of me who was excited and creative and everything, he disappeared because I was just stressed out. I was in a very unhealthy situation, and I made such bad decisions. And at the end of that year, I decided to do something that I've never done before. And this is 2008. I decided to look at my numbers. And I saw that, because we were selling everything, and it's a long story, it's for another masterclass. But I saw that out of the 10 different products or the 12 different products that we had, there was one product. And this one product was the business in a box. It was a bunch of DVDs and binders, and in this box, I was teaching people how to build an online business, because I became successful with building an online business. So obviously, the next common thing to do is to teach other people how to become successful online as well. And I saw that from the $1 million that we made in 2008 with no profits, because I didn't make any money because everything went into my team and office and all that stuff. From the €1 million that we made in 2008, 65 or 70% of all the money came from this one product. And that was fascinating, because I was like, we are working so hard, and I am working so hard, and we're expanding. We're thinking bigger, everything. I had this core belief that, and I told everybody, there's no business without a backend. You need to have a backend. So we kept on creating multiple products and everything, but we didn't make more money. And at the end of 2008, I made this really tough decision. And I always say that if you are willing to make tough decisions, then life will become easier. But if you're not willing to make if you're only willing to make easy decisions, then life will become really tough. So I made the very tough decision to delete everything, to cut out everything and cut out everybody. I literally went from 17 people in my team, and honestly, I mean, by heart, good people, skill set, not so great. Like, from the 17 people, I actually did 17 interviews. So everybody was hired before they even got into my office. I thought that we could do anything, which is very optimistic, but kind of naive. So I didn't extend any contract of the people that I hired, and I decided to keep working with one right hand, one of the 17 who was actually really good and really understood me and was able to help me run my business again. So we cut out everything. It was just cutting out. And then 1 year later, in 2009, I decided to only sell this product. And that year, this product was a box. It was 2,000 euros, this box. And I was like, I want to make €1 million this year. So what I'd done in that year, in 2009, after this horrible year, I sold 500 boxes. And by selling 500 boxes, I made €1 million. And all of a sudden, I was this one-man millionaire. And it was the most amazing feeling ever. I do have to say, at that point, I was still quite insecure, or inexperienced, I should say. It almost felt like cheating. Like, business isn't supposed to be this easy, right? I almost felt like a not successful entrepreneur because it was just too easy. I actually struggled with that whole idea that it was actually easy to make a lot of money. And which is the dumbest belief that you can have. Because if you, and we're going to talk about this as well, if you crack the code, if you know what's working, what you want to do is you want to double down on that. If something feels too easy, too light, if it takes no effort for you to do something extraordinary, that's a sign of the universe to double down on that. So what I would wish for you is to think about, first of all, be open about the idea that you can become a one-man millionaire or a one-woman millionaire. You can build a business that's so clean, so easy, so fun. As my good friend Joe Polish says, ELF, easy, lucrative, and fun. That it almost feels like cheating. Yes, it is cheating whenever it's at the expense of other people. But can you create something of value that can make you a one-man or a one-woman millionaire while creating value in the world? Is that a possibility, yes or no? What do you truly think? So this idea of having one product, and we still sell this product. Right now it's August 2026. And we still sell this product. It's a different form. We don't sell DVDs anymore. And we don't sell binders anymore. But when you look at these DVDs, it's about how to create a course, how to do ads, how to do email marketing, how to work with affiliates. Like, we still teach that stuff. It's the same product. It's a different price. And it's a different, but it's still the same thing. We've been selling the same thing for almost 20 years. And if you would like help with this, if you be like, oh man, I would love to get help from Eelco on how to create, I call this a freedom product, how to create a product that you can sell for years and years and years and years and years and years. In this case, I call this a MOAB. It's called the mother of all programs. If you're a coach or a trainer or a consultant or an advisor, teacher, guru, speaker, whatever, what you want is you want to have one offering that is so valuable that really helps people to go to another level, but that's easy and light for you. And again, I call this the MOAB, mother of all programs. If you need help with this, we have an 8-week track where we guarantee that within 8 weeks you have your freedom product, your MOAB. So you can just send me, if you send me a DM on the word, a DM with the word MOAB on Instagram at Eelco de Boer. Send me a DM with the word MOAB. We'll send you more information, and we offer a track of 8 weeks where we help you create your MOAB that you can then sell for years and years and years. It's pretty phenomenal. So what you want to do is you want to forget about where you are right now. You want to forget about your current business, forget about your team, forget about everything, and you want to think in new realities. Because you build what you've built right now, you don't need to extend that for the rest of your life. You can actually start over, or you can cut off whatever is not working for you anymore and build from there. Take what's working for you and just scale that to the moon. Expand that to a completely new level, or change it so it really works for you. If you have that restaurant in this village and you be like, ah man, 5 years ago this felt like an amazing idea, but now it's just not working for me anymore. It's okay to quit. You have to be able and to be willing to cut your losses. So you have to think in new realities. If you would create something completely new from scratch, what would it be? I will never have a one-man billion-dollar business if I would continue doing what I'm doing right now. If I would still keep selling my MOAB, because that's not a billion-dollar business. If I want to go to a billion-dollar business, I have to think in new realities. I'm very happy with my business. I have an amazing business. And I don't really feel the inspiration right now. But while I'm saying this, I'm challenging myself as well. But I don't feel the inspiration to build a billion-dollar business. But not a good idea, Eelco. Come on. Practice what you preach. Okay, so I'm going to build a one-man billion-dollar business because I'm challenging myself to think in new realities as well. While I'm saying this, yeah, it's possible. You have to feel that it's possible. But you have to think about it first as well. So thank you for listening and watching this because I'm challenging myself as well. So you have to think in new realities and you have to think less realistic. If something feels unrealistic, that's interesting. Because it feels unrealistic because you have certain beliefs that are in the way. But if those beliefs, if they wouldn't be in the way, all of a sudden it can actually become realistic. And all of a sudden you can actually see a path into building this one-man million-dollar business. So there's certain rules, if you would ask me. I mean, there's so many ways to make $1 million. But it's not necessarily that you have to make $1 million. It's more on how are you actually making this $1 million. That's the big question. What you don't want is that your lifestyle is negatively impacted by the leaps of your income. So if you're at 100,000 right now, and if you want to scale to, let's say, 1 million, it's not as easy as in just 10xing what you're doing right now, because oftentimes, and this is a big one if you really grasp this, oftentimes the model that you have right now, if you would scale that, it would actually mean for you that you have less freedom. And this can be your biggest bottleneck in business and in life almost as well, is that if you deep down inside know, actually I don't want to scale this because if I scale this, I'll get in trouble. Well, we have a problem. So if I go back to this business in a box, my 2,000 euro course that in 2009 I sold 500 units, that year I traveled for 5 months. The year before, I was just stressed out and I couldn't even take a week off. This year, same product, less products, 5 months of traveling. I married my wife. We're celebrating 30 years this year. I bought my dream car. Like, life was amazing. How? Really simple. I scaled something that's unrestricted into scaling. You can scale to the moon. I could have sold 5,000. I didn't because I was probably thinking too realistic. But what you want is you want to keep it light. You want to make it light. Because the lighter that you are, the easier it is to lift off to another reality. I love, love, love thinking in new realities. If I go to my journal, my Big Visions journal here, and we'll put a link in the description if you want to buy this journal. The question on the back is, what else is possible here? What else is possible here? What is possible? What's available for you? Well, anything is possible if you are open into thinking in new reality. So how do you actually build a seven-figure business, one-man millionaire business? That was the word I was looking for, a one-woman millionaire business. Well, step one, there's two big steps, and there's certain parts in these big steps. One is you have to have the right business model. You have to have the right business model. This restaurant in this village, it's not the right business model to become a one-man millionaire. Impossible. It's really impossible. So you want to have the right business model, and you have to choose the right vehicle. If I would offer one-on-one coaching for $100 an hour versus a 2,000 euro box back in 2009, it would have been the wrong vehicle. The perfect vehicle for me at that time was to sell a box that's 2,000 euros. That was the most amazing vehicle at that time. Right now, there's a lot of amazing vehicles, but you have to choose the right vehicle. The restaurant in the village, it's not the perfect vehicle to become a one-man millionaire. So the vehicle is most important. So the question you have to ask yourself, is, if you would have more success and more sales, do you have more freedom or do you actually have less freedom? 80 or 90% of the people that I ask this question, if they think about it, if you would have 10 times more sales this month, would you have more freedom or less freedom? Most people would say I would have less freedom. And it's an epiphany moment for a lot of people because they oftentimes realize like, wow, this simple thing is holding me back. I have the wrong business model. The second month, if you do another 10x or 20x or whatever, do you have more or less freedom? And what you want to have is you want to have a vehicle, a business model that the more you sell it, the more successful you become with this product, this vehicle, the more freedom you'll have. It doesn't affect your calendar, but it does affect your bank account in a positive way. This is what we want to have. And I call this your freedom product. You want to have a freedom product you can sell for years and years and years and years and years. And I'm going to share 4 ideas with you. 4 ideas to become a one-man millionaire or a one-woman millionaire. First idea is consider the idea of going extremely high-end. Most people thinking, like, man, if I can get 100,000 clients paying me $10, then I'll have a 7-figure business. But if you flip it around, if you would have a $100,000 offer and you would sell it 10 times, then you also have a 7-figure business. If you compare these two, 100,000 products sold at $10 versus a $100,000 offer, sell it 10 times, what's the difference in running these two businesses? For example, if you have a $100,000 offer where you offer yourself, your mentoring, your coaching, your guidance, maybe your work, maybe you do it for them or whatever, and it's $100,000 a year. And you do everything by yourself. You don't have a team. Maybe one person. And you would have 10 clients. You would make $1 million, like literally make $1 million, and you keep $1 million outside of taxes and everything, but there's almost no expenses, no costs. If you had to sell 100,000 units at $10, you can't do that by yourself. You need a big team. You probably need fulfillment. Like you need a lot of ads, like all this. There's so much stuff. If you want to sell 100,000 units at $10, then when you sell 10 units at $100,000. I had a conversation last week with a friend / mentor of mine, and his whole business model is one-on-one coaching. So all he does is one-on-one coaching. And what I always hear from people is, okay, that's not scalable. But also, like, yeah, you're not really building a business if you're doing one-on-one coaching. And he was sharing with me. So if you do one-on-one coaching with him, same with me. So we have this similar business model. So I also do one-on-one mentoring. It's one session a month. 1 session a month. And so every month we'll have a session. And for him, it's the same model. However, for him, it's his full-time thing. I have multiple businesses and multiple streams of income, but his only stream of income is his one-on-one coaching and his one-on-one mentoring. He's not active on social media, not really. Like, he creates content, but he's not like an influencer or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. He's not running ads. He doesn't have a team. He makes between $5 and $7 million a year. $5 and $7 million a year doing one-on-one coaching. So you'll be thinking like, man, that must be stressful. I mean, having a one-on-one coaching business that makes between $5 and $7 million a year, that must be really, really stressful. I wouldn't trade places with this guy. That's super stressful. This guy, he works 1 week a month. He works 1 week a month, and this week he does between 30-ish and 50 sessions. So for him, it's 14,000 a month. He charges 14,000 a month. And he does between 30 and 50 sessions-ish in 1 week. So this week, he has no life. 1 week a month, he has no life. As in, like, he's just with his clients, and he actually enjoys it. And then he has 3 weeks off, and he makes between $5 and $7 million. That's a new reality. So many people think that, oh, it's not scalable. I mean, how big of a business do you need to build to net 5 to 7 million? If you want to make 5 to 7 million with a normal business, with a team and everything, you might have to make 20 or 30 million and have a big team. But what if you would do everything by yourself and you are the one-man millionaire? I'm not saying that you should do this. I'm sharing this with you to open up your mind to new possibilities. So there's a huge difference in making $1 million and keeping $1 million. And the first model, it's very hard to keep $1 million, and the second model is actually easy to keep $1 million. People say, well, it's not scalable. I mean, it's not scalable. If even an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos or the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, everybody has an hourly rate, as in, like, how much are you making per year? As in, how much profit are you making per year? How many hours do you put in the business per year? If you divide your profits between the hours, that's an hourly rate. If you can charge an extremely high amount per hour doing one-on-one work, that's an amazing way of building a business, and you don't need to be ashamed of that. It's okay to not be entrepreneuring. It's funny, I had a conversation with a friend of mine. He's very successful online. And his big mistake that he made, he's been successful since 14-ish years. And the big mistakes that he made is, and I told him, you're entrepreneuring too much. You shouldn't be entrepreneuring. You should be the creator that you are. You should be the influencer. You should be the brand. And you should just make a lot of money, but don't build a big business. Why would you want to build a big business? It's oftentimes less profitable and less expensive. And a big business oftentimes is really expensive. So everybody has an hourly rate. So consider the idea of going extremely high-end. That's the first idea. Extremely high-end. Second idea, have something that sells like hotcakes. Not easy, but sometimes we have something that's just an easy sell. And you can sell millions and millions and millions of dollars of worth of goods that you created. Could be a physical product, could be an online product, could be something that people really, really need or really, really want, or people are really excited about. So it's funny, one of my best friends, his name is Dean Jackson, and Dean is an amazing marketer, amazing human being, but amazing marketer. And in 1999, he had somebody else write a book. And this book, it's called Stop Your Divorce. How to Stop Your Divorce. He wasn't an expert on how to stop a divorce, but he knew an expert. And again, this is 1999. So Dean found, I think his name was Homer McDonald, but anyway, he found a man, an expert who was doing one-on-one consulting on how to stop a divorce. He wrote the book, and he had a deal with him. And the deal was the following. You write the book, I'll sell the book, I will keep 100% of the profits, but I guarantee that your pricing can go 3 to 5x, and you'll have so many clients. And Homer was like, yeah, that's awesome. That's a great deal. So Dean within one day, he wrote one page. It's a sales letter. And on the sales letter, you can buy the ebook for $79, or you can buy the physical book for $99. Again, this is $19.99. And at those times, anyway. So he launches that book in 1999. And Dean and I, we became really good friends like 10 years ago. And we decided to do a yearly mastermind here in Amsterdam. And during this mastermind, I asked Dean a question like, what's it like? Are you still selling the book? And if so, how much do you sell? How many do you still sell? And this is maybe 3-4 years ago. And this is what he said. I have a video. We have a short little clip.
And at that time, it was just starting pay-per-click advertising. This was in 1998, 99. And but we've sold over $5 million of that book. Wow. Just, a $79 book.
And counting, right?
Yeah, and counting, still going. It still does every month. It still sells, right?
So can you imagine that? Can you imagine creating one thing 25 plus years ago, and that every month it's still making money? So sometimes we actually hit a home run. We have something that actually sells really well. If that happens, if you have something that sells really well, and this is where a lot of people go wrong, is this what they do? They do something else. Oh, we have a winner here. Let's do something else. If you have something that sells like hotcakes, you want to double down on that. And you want to expand on that. If I go back to my business in a box that I built in 2007, this simple box that I built with these DVDs and these binders, this one product, this Freedom product that was selling really well and easily, it gave me the life of my dreams. One product. Since I launched that product, I've been traveling all the time. Multiple months per year, every year for over 20 years. Close to 20 years. Why? I had a product that was actually selling really well, and I decided to keep on doing that. Same with Dean, one product. This one product, this book, this $79 ebook, made him a millionaire. He probably, or maybe he was already a millionaire, I don't know, but that was his one man $1 million business. Multi-million dollar business. One product that sells like hotcakes. So maybe you have it already, but you sort of forgot about it. It's funny, I have a group that group of entrepreneurs that I mentor. It's called the Bar Raisers. And if you're interested in my mentoring, send me a DM on Instagram with the word Bar Raisers, and I'll send you more info. It's an amazing group. And we have this saying in this group, and the saying in this group is, oh, it worked so well, so we forgot about it. Or it worked so well, so we stopped doing it. And sometimes it's simply just doing what's already working, but doing it at a completely different level. A completely different level. So cracking the code is not easy in business. It's just not easy to crack the code. If you crack the code, what you want to do right then is you want to double down, double down, double down, double down, double down. Blinders on, and just really go for it, because it can literally change your life. If you have something that sells really well, you want to make it sell like hotcakes. Third big idea is the following. Maybe you can build the perfect machine to become a one-man millionaire or a one-woman millionaire. So this is an example of the perfect machine that made me a one-man millionaire. This is an example of a couple years ago, 2019. At that time, I was still selling the business in a box. It's called Master Moves now. And at that time, it was a 2,500 euro for 6 months, or 5,000 euros for a year, or 15,000 euros for 3 years. So it was a coaching program. And this is in the beginning of 2019. And I did a thought experiment with myself. And again, I like to think in new realities. I was like, what if I wouldn't work this year? what if I wouldn't do live events or live webinars? What if I wouldn't do any one-on-one? I didn't really do one-on-one anyway at that time. What if I wouldn't advertise? So I'm not going to advertise. What if I don't do any coaching? Like, what if I won't do anything, but I would still want to make multiple 7 figures? What would I do? And we were on Curacao, which is a Dutch Caribbean island. And I was thinking, okay, if I want to do that, I have to build the perfect machine. The perfect machine that will make me money consistently all the time for this year, while I'll go completely offline. So during that year, I went offline for social media for like 100 days. Like, it was an unbelievable year. I can recall I went to Miami just 5 times that year from Amsterdam. It was an amazing year. I had no launch that year. I didn't write one email, like nothing. It was just nothing. But it was a phenomenal year. What did I do to build this perfect machine, and how can you apply this? What I'm going to share with you right now, nobody does this. Almost nobody does this. And it's so simple, but it's not easy. Because what it requires is that you take some time off to really craft and work this perfect machine. So we were in Curacao, and I decided to write all the emails for 2019 in one batch. And it took me only a couple of days, because I didn't actually write the emails. I just went through the emails that I wrote in the years before. I collected all my emails, and it was a total of 112 emails. And what I decided to do is, okay, every week for the next 7 months, we will send out 4 emails. And in these 4 emails, it's going to be a variety. It's going to be valuable emails with just value. It's going to be emails with value plus a call to action to an automated webinar, which is a big part of the machine. It's going to be an email with just a call to action to the automated webinar, just a pitch to the automated webinar. And that's it. And every week, I'm going to send out 4 emails, and I'm going to do that for 7 months, 28 weeks. I have 112 emails ready, and we're going to send for a week. Those emails, they redirected so if you click the link in the emails, it went to an automated webinar. I had 4 different automated webinars, and we were selling the 2,500 euro or 5,000 euro or 15,000 euro offer on that webinar. So they had 3 options. We didn't have like this huge spike in sales in 2019. However, what we did have during the whole year, again, no ads, nothing, completely off. I made $2.1 million that year from this perfect machine. How did I do that? Very simple. I just pre-wrote 112 emails. We send out those 4 emails every week. My right hand in my team sent this out every week. And on average, we did like 1.5 sales per day. And the average order value was like $4,400. And if you add everything up, that's around 2.1 million euros for the year. Nothing fancy. It was simple. It's not easy to build because it actually requires to sit down and create something meaningful, create something really amazing, as in like those 112 emails, and have the automated webinars. I already had those. And then I just send those emails to my list, my already existing list. And then after 7 months, guess what we did? We just did it again. We started from the first email, and it was just so easy. And I can recall a person in my team, my right hand, he was like, we don't have the best year, right? Like we don't have like big spikes, no big launches, no excitement. It's like, well, if you look at the numbers, it's very consistent. You know, on Monday, we had 18 people on the webinar. On Tuesday, we had 13 people on the webinar. On Wednesday, we had 28 people. It was just small numbers. But selling 1.5 products with an average order value of 4,400 euros, that really adds up. So maybe you already have it. I already had those emails. I didn't write anything new. I already had those webinars. I decided to automate them. I just decided to build the perfect machine. Maybe you already have it, but you forgot about it. Maybe you have offers that sell really well. Maybe you have emails that convert really well. Maybe you already have it, but you haven't decided to build the perfect machine yet. So what would the perfect machine look like if you want to become a one-man millionaire? That's up for you to decide. Oftentimes it's simpler than you think, but it's just not easy. It's just not easy to sit down and think this whole thing through. But once you thought it through, it's just bliss. If I look at my year right now, it's August 2026. Emails is everything. For us, emails is everything. Like, it's the backbone of my business. It's been the backbone of my business for 20 years. And it really is the backbone of my business. But it's such a hassle to keep on writing emails to send it to the list. For the next couple of... I don't even want to say this, but I'm saying this anyway. I wrote all of the emails for this year. I don't need to think about writing emails anymore. If I would just chill right now, and I'm chill right now, but if I would chill for the next 12 months and decide to do nothing new, we would have the most amazing year ever. Why? Because I actually sat down and created the perfect machine. All of my emails are already done. It's already written. It's not easy to do that because it requires focus, attention. It's something like this focus and attention. It's something that it's your competitive advantage. It really is your competitive advantage, but most people are not willing to actually focus. The best way to focus, it's really simple. Switch off the internet and start creating. Earlier this year, I launched a book. It's called Internet Fasting. And if you check the link in the description, you can actually order the book. The principle is very simple. It's just switching off the internet for multiple hours a day, I should say. Reclaim your focus and start creating a perfect machine. Just applying internet fasting can actually free up time for you so you can actually build a perfect machine, so you can actually build that 7-figure business without a big team. All you need is one person in your team, or you can do it by yourself. I prefer to have one right hand, and that's all you need to have a 7-figure business. So, and it doesn't have to be all the emails, but it could be. If you are like, man, how does he actually do that with his emails? Because it is interesting. And if you're already on my list and you get my emails and you'll be like, it's a pretty cool way of sending emails. Like, it's amazing. Really doing email this way, it's really, really phenomenal. So if you're interested in that, we also have a track. In 8 weeks, you're going to build all of the emails for the next year. So you don't have to think about it either for the next year. You build your machine. You build your perfect machine in 8 weeks. So in 8 weeks' time, we're going to build out a full year of emails. And so you can have this passive income as well. If you're interested, send me a DM on Instagram with the word email magic. If you send me a word email magic, I'll send you some more info. And within 8 weeks, you have it all done. It's all done. So that's a third idea. Send me a DM on Instagram with the word email magic. So that's a third idea. And the fourth idea is next level reach. If you have a way of creating content, for example, could be reels, could be shorts, same thing. Could be x.com, could be long form on YouTube, could be whatever it is, could be doing podcast interviews, whatever it is. And it's easy for you, because it's not easy for most of the people. But if it's easy for you, the final idea of like really going to a 7-figure business is double down on what works. But for real, double down. And what I mean by that, if you, for example, have 10,000 followers on Instagram because once a week you write a cool post or you do a cool story, or a cool short, I should say, reel, when I say double down, I'm not saying, oh, you should go from 1 reel, or let's say 1 reel a day, to 7 reels a week, to 10 reels a week. I would say double down for real. Instead of 1 reel a day, think about 100 reels a week. Think about 400 reels, 500 reels a month, instead of a couple a week. If it's already working for you and you're already cracked the code when it comes to reach online with socials, double down on what works. This by itself can actually be a big breakthrough for you as an entrepreneur. That if you can 10x your reach, you can actually, if you have the right vehicle, 10x your business as well without having a big team. Because you don't need a big team to do content creation, I assume. So that's the fourth idea on the business model. Then the second big idea is, how do you actually run this business? If you want to be a one-man millionaire or one-woman millionaire, how do you actually run the business? And this is where a lot of people, they go wrong. So this is what I advise everybody to do. And this is the process that I went through from 2008 when I was stressed out and didn't have any money, but we made €1 million, but it wasn't profitable and I was stressed out. To 1 year later where I made €1 million and have an amazing life. Like this. I did this simple process and it was just, I almost tattooed it on my body. I was just thinking about this all the time. The first one is you want to delete. Delete everything that is not serving you to get to that goal. So everything that is, and my friend Joe Polish has this amazing saying. He says, you have to be willing to delete anything that is not excellent. Everything in your business, if it's not helping you to become that one-man millionaire, delete it. So when I go back to 2008, I deleted all of my courses. I just got rid of them. I deleted, and I know this sounds kind of harsh, I deleted all the people in my team. I deleted my office. I deleted all the software that we were using. I deleted everything. And I kept the thing that actually had the potential to go to another level, which was the business in a box, which is something that we're still selling today. Only then, after you deleted 80, 90% of all the things that you've done and have, then you want to automate. So for me, when I go back, for example, the emails, I pre-wrote all the emails and then you can automate and don't need to think about it anymore. So first you want to delete everything, then you want to automate, and then, but only then you want to outsource. But do you actually really need to outsource? Or are there already so many systems that can actually help you? Or can you do it by yourself? Sometimes it's just better to do it by yourself. One of the biggest problems that we have as entrepreneurs, or one of the biggest mistakes we make as entrepreneurs, is we're throwing bodies at a problem. Oh, we have a problem, let's outsource it. Let's find somebody who can do this. And this way you're solving a problem. Oh, we have a problem and let's put somebody on fixing that problem or managing that problem. You don't want to solve problems in your business. You want to dissolve those problems. You just don't want them. You don't want things to be in your business that are actually a problem. You want to just delete it. So there's a lot of space for you to actually grow what you want to grow. It really has to be light. So in closing, one, you have to have the ideal business model. You want to have a freedom product that you can sell over and over and over and over and over again. And I presented 4 ideas. One is you can go extremely high end. Extremely high end. Think way more high end than you're thinking right now. Don't think in 2x or 3x or 4x. Think in 20 to 50x. What would happen if you make an offering that's 20 to 50x is what you're offering right now? Second is, if you have something that sells really well, make it sell like hotcakes. Double down on what's already working for you. It's really hard to crack the code. If you crack the code, double down on it. Third is, you want to build the perfect machine. If you might already have everything that you need, but you haven't decided to build a machine yet. If you build a machine that can actually work for you and make you this one-man millionaire. And fourth, if you're already really well at creating reach, double down on that reach. So that's the big part, the first big part of the business model. And then second, like how do you actually run this business? Well, you want to delete, first of all, what's not serving you anymore, what you don't want to drag into the future. Then you want to automate. And then you want to outsource. So I have an invitation for you. And this invitation is the following. If you want to become a one-man millionaire or a one-woman millionaire, there's something that's very important if you actually want to achieve that. In the beginning of this masterclass, I talked about possibilities, new realities, stuff like that. But imagine you want to become an athlete. Like you want to become an amazing athlete. You're young, you're at the beginning of your career as an athlete. You want to compete with the top 5 or the top 10%, top 5 or the top 10 people in the world. And you have an issue with food. Like you never really think about food. It's just whatever is in like on your plate, you'll eat it. Whatever's in the cabinet, you'll eat it. Like you don't think about food, just eat whatever. What are the odds of you becoming the best in the world if you don't dial down your food as an athlete? Well, the odds are very small. I mean, you really have to be an extreme anomaly to don't even think about food and just eat whatever and become the best athlete in the world. Or whatever athlete you want to be, even if you want to become a really good athlete, not even top 1, top 5, top 10, but just really become a good athlete. Like, you do have to become a master at food. You got to know what's good for you. You got to learn about proteins and carbs and sugars and whatever. You need to understand your body, and you need to understand the fuel that you have to put in your body. So that's very important if you are an athlete. However, you might not be an athlete, but you are an entrepreneur. Or at least you're an aspiring entrepreneur. You're watching this right now because you want to have this one-man $1 million business or one-woman $1 million business. Well, I have an invitation for you, something to explore for yourself that you can do after this masterclass. I want to invite you to the idea, and I know this might sound weird. If you would be an athlete, I would say the invitation would be you have to dial down your food. You have to understand nutrition. You have to become a master at nutrition because it will help you with your career as an athlete. The invitation that I have for you is you have to become a money-making master. If you want to become a one-man millionaire, a one-woman millionaire, it's almost impossible if you don't become a money-making master. Becoming a money-making master, it is a decision, just as is to become a master at food. It's a decision to become a money-making master. What would it look like for you? And what do you have to do for yourself? Which limiting beliefs do you have about money? Where are you lazy with money? Where are you neglecting money? Like, where is there a lot of charge around money? And what would it look like for you if money becomes light for you? What would it look like for you if money becomes a source of joy for you? It'll change everything. It's so funny. I don't care about money. I talk about money today. This masterclass is called One Man Millionaire or One Woman Millionaire. But I don't care about money. What I care about is freedom. What I care about is my life, my lifestyle. What I care about is my purpose. What I care about is creation. I care about those things. I don't care about money itself, but it's so important to eventually get there. A lot of people have a lot of really interesting, funny beliefs about money. And these beliefs are hurting them. So what I would advise you to do is make the decision to become a money-making master. And then think for yourself, like, okay, what's needed for me to become a money-making master? So this is a potentially a new reality for you that I would wish for you if you want to become that one-man millionaire, one-woman millionaire, and if you actually want to have this amazing life, because there's an amazing life waiting for you. Yes, money is not everything, but having so much more freedom and time and creativity is just really a phenomenal thing. So I hope you enjoyed this masterclass. Yeah,